Welcome back to Reset and Rise Midlife. I'm your host, Coach Sabrina Woods. Today may bring up something for us, and that's okay. This is one of those conversations where we don't rush past it, we sit with it. For a lot of us, we did not grow up in homes where emotional intelligence was modeled. We grew up figuring it out as we went. We grew up in survival, in unpredictability, in homes where substance use spoke louder than connection, where silence felt heavy, and where emotions didn't always feel safe to express. And sometimes, somewhere along the way, we learned don't feel too much, don't say too much, and don't need too much. Because when we did, it didn't always land safely. So let me ask you, what did emotions feel like in your home growing up? Were they welcome or were they avoided? Maybe no one ever sat with us and said, what you're feeling matters. Maybe no one helped us name what was happening inside of us. So instead, we learned in real time. We felt things deeply, but we didn't understand them. We reacted, but we didn't know how to process. And sometimes we were corrected before we ever understood. Can you think of a moment where you needed comfort, but learned to stay quiet instead? As we grew up, we carried that with us. We learned how to minimize what we felt. We told ourselves, it's not that bad. We're fine, even when we weren't. We learned how to normalize things that didn't feel good because they were familiar. And without even realizing it, we started projecting, deflecting, and protecting, doing whatever we needed to do to not feel what we never learned how to hold. How often do we still do that now? Push it down, brush it off, tell ourselves we're okay instead of asking, am I really? And this is something we don't always talk about. If we were never shown emotional intelligence, we wouldn't just know how to do it, right? We don't wake up one day knowing how to regulate, how to communicate, and how to sit with ourselves in discomfort. This is something we learn over time through awareness and through moments like this. What if nothing is wrong with us and we were just never taught? Because emotional safety wasn't there. We didn't just struggle with emotions, we struggled with trusting ourselves. We questioned, am I overreacting? Is this even valid? Should I feel this way? So sometimes we silence what we feel, and other times it comes out all at once. There's never a middle ground. And no one really explains this part either. Our bodies remember. So now we're just not reacting to what's happening in front of us. We're reacting to what we've been carrying. Past moments, old emotions, things we didn't get to process back then. That's why something small can feel so big to us. And that's why someone's tone can shift everything. And that's why distance feels like rejection. Have you ever noticed that? How something so small feels like it's connected to so much more? And if we really sit with it, we can see how we adapted. Some of us became the peacekeepers. Some of us became the strong one. And some of us stayed quiet. Some of us became reactive, guarded, and protected. Not because that's who we are, but because that's what helped us get through. So, what role did you learn to play? Are you still carrying it, even when you don't need to anymore? And let's talk about this. We step into relationships wanting something different. We want connection, understanding, peace, but we're still carrying patterns we never got to work through. So sometimes we react instead of express. We expect instead of communicate. And we protect instead of pause. And then we sit there wondering, why does this feel so hard? So let me ask you, what do we reach for first? Reaction or understanding? This is one of those mirror moments, not to judge ourselves, but to see ourselves. Because once we see it, we can begin to understand it. And once we understand it, we can start to shift it. And we hold this part gently. What we went through, that wasn't our fault. But as we grow, we do get to decide what we do with it. Not perfectly, not all at once, but intentionally. What would it look like to respond differently just one time? So now we learn. We learn what we weren't taught. We start creating emotional safety within ourselves first. We pause a little more. We check in with ourselves more often. And we ask, is this coming from now or from before? Is this mine or is it something I picked up along the way? And what do I actually need in this moment? Because emotional intelligence isn't something we either have or don't have. It's something we build moment by moment, choice by choice, awareness by awareness. And if this resonates with you, if something in this felt familiar, if you're starting to see yourself in a new way, come sit with us inside the Mirror at Dusk Experience. This is the work we do together. We are not broken. We were just never taught. And now we get to learn a new way together.
So I pivot